Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman, and I wanted to address an issue that's been addressed before. I did make a video on it on Tanakh Talk, and that was, you can see that on YouTube. Search for Tanakh Talk in my name, Chaim Kaufman, Chaimcoffman, right? Do a search for about charging for teaching Torah. So someone out there, called me a fraud for doing such a thing because you can find so many classes online, right? You can do it for free. Well, that may be true, but, before I address whether it's permissible to charge or not, let's define exactly what a fraud is. So according to Webster, all right, I got a few definitions here. All right, one definition is it's intentional perversion of truth in order to induce another to part with something of value or to surrender a legal right. B, an act of deceiving or misrepresenting. That's fraud. Number 2, a person is not what he or she pretends to be. An imposter. He claimed to be a licensed psychologist, but he was a fraud. He claimed to be a rabbi, but he's got no credentials. Or one that is not what it seems or is represented to be. That is Webster's definition of what fraud is. Right? So it makes sense. Deceit, trickery, perversion of truth. Misrepresenting. Right? So anyone who's ever come to any of my classes or knows what I do, I'll make clear, is that I prepare people for conversion. 2 classes a week, 8 classes a month. Yes, I do charge a fee, but anyone who can't pay, and most people know this, is that if they can't pay, I don't charge them. If they can pay later, fine. But I'm not going to stand on, I'm not going to stand on my laurels here and say, wow, you can't pay, you can't come. So I'd love not to charge. People out there don't charge cheaper, okay? You want to do it on your own? Okay. But I never claimed, ever, ever, that I convert anyone. That's first. Yes, I will vouch for people. I will write a letter for them, and that I've done. And any rabbinical court I've sent it to never had a problem. Because you need someone else. You need somebody on the ground. You need you need that type of rabbi that can see what the person does. Right? Exactly what they do. They keep Shabbos, they keep kashrus, etc. So that type of rabbi is going to be needed. But you also need someone to teach. So someone will say, wow, what does that letter do? Well, you know what that letter does? First of all, it gives the person credibility that they took classes, that they actually went through the material. Now, how well they know the material, that's not on me. I'm there giving information. People are going to take this information. Some will know it better, some will know it worse, whatever it is, right? But again, what do? I prepare them for conversion. You say, oh, you only vouch for them. Well, that's a huge thing. Right? And a rabbi on the ground, a sponsoring rabbi, he's also going to vouch for them, whether he gave classes or not. Right? He'll go in front of the Beis Din, he'll speak to them, and he'll say, yes, they came to my house, they came to my synagogue, I saw them keep kosher, they keep Shabbos, they keep the festivals, they do all these other things. That's, anything I've ever done, in this field of conversion, is not fraudulent. Whether you say I'm allowed to charge or not, okay, that's a different issue. People say, oh, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't charge, right? Because God made him rich. God made him rich in the desert. And if all things being equal, I wouldn't charge. Right? But money certainly helps. And I'm very good at what I do. And people are very happy. I've had people say, well, your time is definitely worth something. And I've had people say, well, I can't afford it right now, but I'm going to come back when I can. because your time is worth something. Someone has a tutor. Whatever subject, doesn't matter. They don't have a right to charge. Take an online course. They don't have a right to charge. Right? The Shulchan Aruch says clear. You're certainly allowed to charge for Torah. It means you can't charge an arm and a leg. It's got to be reasonable. But at the end of the day, did I ever say I was going to convert people? No. Right? I make that clear when I speak to people. And I also made clear that when I speak to them, they're going to get something specific. Not just getting classes. You say, oh, how can you charge for classes? All right, let people take classes for free. They don't have to take my classes. But they're getting much more than classes. They're getting 25 years of experience. Shimush Talmudei Chachamim. Right, I've been under great rabbis. Go look them up. Dayan Fisher, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, had a good connection to him. Ramosh Sturmach Shlita should be well. The Av Basin of the Eidah Charedis, he needs no introduction. You want to call him a fanatic, call him whatever you want. One of the Torah giants of this generation. I've known him for 23 years. Saw him last week, so had a big smile for me. 3 months, and Hashem will come to my daughter's wedding. He's 93. Doesn't leave his house too much. I'm considered like a son to him. Need further credentials than that? Go to my blog, orthodoxconversion.com. He's the first person mentioned. He vouches for me. That's real credibility. I'm not here to toot my own horn. I'm not here to say who I am or whatever. No one's going to call me a fraud. Because everybody knows what they see is what they get. And if they don't have money to pay, I'll look the other way. I'm not in it just for money. But people are willing to pay, and certainly what I can charge a lot more. And people charge a lot more, that's for sure. But what are they getting? They're getting something very specific, not just classes, blessings, kashrus, Shabbos, 13 principles of faith. I'm around to take people's questions. I'm around to deal with them, give them hadracha. Right? To put them in a proper path. Their questions come to me. He's a YouTube rabbi. I got 25 years experience. 25 years of learning. 25 years of being around Torah giants. So the person out there, shut off his big mouth, what do you have? Who vouches for you? I don't think too many people. They're going to say, so why are you even getting on your soapbox and answering? That's a good question. But I want to make people understand and be clear as day what this program is. So some people can't afford it. I understand. And if it's a choice between the electric bill and me, I understand who's coming first. So some people say, well, I know rabbis, they charge, and the person can't pay, they don't have anything to do with them. Okay? I'm not saying that's right, but that's not what I do. If you're going to say what I do, say what I do. Don't make up things. Don't trash my name for no reason. And at the end of the day, I have a 100% track record. Anyone who's ever gone to rabbinical court, I haven't had anyone been rejected. And no one's gone sour afterwards. Right? And everybody, I haven't had anybody, unhappy with my work. I mean, if you are, you can tell me. Not everyone loves my style, that's fine. I'm not going to be mushy-gushy. I'm not going to pat everyone on the back. People have to know what reality is. We have to know what they're up against, what Jewish communities can do to people. For better or for worse, we're our own worst enemy. But it's a mentorship program. It's not just giving classes. There are people who just give classes, charge an arm or a leg, and charge $75, $100 an hour. Certainly can do that. I know people that do. Okay. Person's going to pay it, they'll pay it. They don't want to pay it, find some other way to do it. I'm not saying that the price has to be exorbitant. But it's not just about giving classes. Right? People willing to pay for more. because they're getting more. I mean, someone's got a PhD. Someone's got years and years of life experience. It's worth something. It's definitely worth something. People say, oh, when'd you get a real job? Stop scamming off of non-Jews. It's not scamming. It's not a fraud. Look at Webster's definition, you idiot. Certainly not fraud. Not misleading anyone. And I told people some rabbinical courts may say, we don't know who this person is. And at the end of the day, we may not accept your classes. But they'll see they have knowledge. It's not knowledge that's wasted. So that's one of my disclaimers. So in 10 years, it's never happened. I've never had a rabbinical come back to me and say, you're worthless. Your classes are nothing. Just the opposite. They have the utmost respect because of my Rebbe is and that he backs me for the last 23 years. Does that mean he's a fraud because he backs me? I mean, he's been called a lot of things also. A fraud's not one of them. What do you think, a Torah giant courting everybody? Is going to put his name on something? Or back somebody that's a fraud? I don't think so. He'd be the first person to tell you if you're out of line, you're finished. Told me that a number of times. You know, I won't be afraid to give you Musar. I won't be afraid to put you in your place. He's done it. I'm still there. Still part of the inner entourage, so to speak. That sound like fraud to you? You're going to say, well, you shouldn't charge. Well, my time's worth something. People's time's worth something. Life experience is worth something. Someone can't pay it, I understand. I'm not going to stand in anybody's way. I've had people, again, gone by the wayside. They'll tell me they'll come back when they can afford it because your time is worth something. So I tell them, why spin your wheels? Just take the class. Whatever you can pay, you pay. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's not about making money. I mean, it helps. It helps, don't get me wrong. But the Shulchan Aruch says you're allowed to charge. So what's the issue? You're not telling people what they're getting. Not true. So at the end of the day, you show where I'm fraudulent. Prove it. You got a big mouth. Show it. Show where it's fraudulent. Did I ever say I convert people? No. Did I ever say I'll never take people if they can't pay? No. Did I ever say I'll push people away because they can't pay? No. I'm busy day and night helping people. Pay me, they don't pay me. You know, answering questions. Giving advice. I could charge them if I wanted to. They probably never hear from some of them. But most people understand the value. If I would do something that's not what I say, and I wouldn't help, and I'm misrepresenting, that's fraud. That is total fraud. I agree. But that's not what this is. Not in any way, shape, or form. Right? Just on that, subject for a second. There are a lot of people out there that teach or want to teach. And if you look at their resume, the one thing that should stick out is A, where they learned, and B, who their Das Torah is. Meaning, who do they go to ask their questions to? Look at my page straight away, Moshe Sternbuch. Everybody knows. I don't think anybody except his kids or grandkids that quote him more than I do. Everybody knows. Somebody has a resume yay long. And he's helped people for years and years. He's given classes, called the rabbi, whatever. But he doesn't have that on his list. He doesn't have who his Rebbe is, who he goes to questions, who he goes to for questions. Then what does that tell you? What is he hiding? Put it all over Facebook. Put it all over on YouTube. Put it on Instagram. Put it on Twitter. Put it everywhere. Yeah, I got what to brag about. Because I'm close to one of the Torah giants. From where I came from, that's a miracle. And when I rub shoulders and I speak to him, nothing like it in the world. Plenty of pictures to prove it. That's fraudulent? Want to call me a fraud? Call me a fraud. But you want to prove something to the world? Do what I told you to do. Go all over Facebook, Instagram. Show your credentials. Show who backs you. Plenty of rabbis out there. Talk a big game. Maybe very influential. Very good. If it's good. But in the end, when you ask them to produce, who'd you learn by? Who backs you? I can name a number of people like this. Not going to do it. But you know who you are. And then when I did it, they said, oh, you don't know anything. You're a nothing. You're a nobody. You're, sticks and stones. Gonna make fun of you. Gonna call you out. Call me out. Show me your credentials. Show me and show the world. And if you don't do that, then you yourself are a fraud.